Once upon a time, there was a young man leaving home to go on a big journey. Seriously, today, November 8, 10 years ago in 2007, I indeed left home for a 2 months backpacking trip in Southeast Asia. At least that was the plan. And you know the good thing? It turned out nothing like planned. What actually happened? Well, I left home thinking about 2 months in Southeast Asia, and well, I came back 7 months later after traveling, well, around the world. So not only Southeast Asia, which precisely meant in my case Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam and Laos, but also Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Western USA, and yeah, even a one-day trip to Mexico. Well, that doesn't really count, but anyway. So what I really love about my around the world trip was that I did it exactly my way, which means I had really the opportunity to plan very little ahead. I had no restrictions on when I needed to be back home. In the extreme case, I woke up in the morning and decided, well, it's time to move on, and took a taxi to the airport and left the country for another one. So that was really just awesome, because I could really, well, just live in the moment. You see, now it's 10 years later and I'm still very excited about this trip. And therefore I can only encourage everybody else to do what they really love to do as well. In my case, at that time, I just finished my studies, I was single, and I had no money. So, yeah, perfect time to go and to travel around the world. I just knew this was the right time to go. Even though money was an issue, but luckily I was able to borrow the money from family. You see, even now, it's 10 years later and I'm still so excited about that around the world trip. It was just worth every cent. I have a great friend in Melbourne, James, and after 3 months of traveling I was actually quite sick of traveling. I mean, every day you see something new, but if you see something new every day, it becomes boring after a time. And so I'm really very thankful for the opportunity to stay at his place for I think 3 weeks or so quite long. And there I could really just re-energize myself and get really interested in traveling again. I always dreamt of doing a round the world trip, but I would have never thought that I would ever dare to do it. In fact, even when I arrived in Bangkok, which was the first place I went to be honest, I actually just wanted to go back home. I mean, I was alone, I didn't know where to go, I didn't know where to stay, I knew absolutely nothing about the place. The only thing I had was a rough guide, that's a travel guide, in my backpack, which is actually quite good already, so I had a place to start. But yeah, this was actually quite scary at the beginning. Traveling alone for such a long time is just such a great experience. I mean, traveling alone is a tricky business. The advantage is you can leave anytime, you can do whatever you like. You're just free. The disadvantage is you have nobody to share the memories with, or at least it's a bit more difficult. And sometimes it can be much less fun, of course. But the good thing was, in my case, I actually traveled for quite a few weeks together with friends. But this was just an kind of, yeah, an on and off relationship in a sense. For example, when I arrived in Bangkok, I realized that my brother, who left actually 1 month earlier for a planned around the world trip with 4 friends, he actually would arrive only 3 days after me in Bangkok. So, of course, we decided to meet. And, well, it just really clicked. We had just a great time together. And therefore, I decided to, well, why not? Let's stay in Bangkok until those guys are back from Burma, and continue travel with them in Thailand and Cambodia for 3 weeks. Then I continued alone in Vietnam and Laos, and after that I decided, well, damn, it was really such a great time with those guys. Let's continue again with them. So I decided to fly to New Zealand, where they, in the meantime, would go for a 3 weeks trip through New Zealand. And, well, I decided to join them. Here again, you see that I didn't plan much ahead, because I met those guys again on the plane to New Zealand, and only there I realized that, oh, these guys are camping. So I was not at all prepared for camping. And therefore, at the first night, I just slept in my rental car. And next morning, first thing was just, well, I need a backpack. Sorry, I meant a sleeping bag. I was lucky to use their tent, and I just need a few other things that, well, that you need for camping. So much for preparation. But exactly that was, of course, those are the stories you like to tell afterwards, like now, and which you really love. So yeah, it was really a great time, just a great time. And yeah, and many other great things. For example, one of my best friends, Bernie, decided to fly over from Austria and travel with me in Australia for 3 weeks. Also, I was at one of my best friend's wedding in Australia, which was a Christian Hindu wedding, which was just best wedding I ever experienced. So amazing, really amazing. To all those people and friends out there who helped me, who supported me in any way during that journey, thank you so much for providing such a great time. You know who you are. Thanks a lot.